Welcome to Lancaster Community Television Station. My name is Ethan. I'm here with Conestoga Valley alumni, 3-sport star, Madison. How are you doing, Madison?
I am doing amazing. I'm excited to be chatting with you today, Ethan.
That sounds very respectful and friendly. I understand you went to not only Conestoga Valley School District, you're also productive in your community. You made your parents proud. Let's start with the education.
Sure. So do you want me to look into the camera? Okay, perfect. So yes, I did go to Conestoga Valley, but prior to that, I actually moved around a lot. I went to about 10 different schools across Lancaster County, and originally I was in the school district of Lancaster, and then moved on to Manheim Township, and then eventually graduated from Conestoga Valley High School. And so when I got to Conestoga Valley High School, I definitely felt a better sense of diversity within Conestoga Valley. I definitely felt a higher sense of diversity at Conestoga Valley. As far as the education, I took as many honors courses as I could, and I was also in college in the high school as well as taking AP courses. And so I definitely challenged myself throughout my academic career while in high school, and overall I did very well, always had all A's and B's, and felt as though I was producing at the highest level that I could.
You always excel at what you do. You put your best effort forward, and you also are usually committed. And you usually did the soccer and, of course, track and field. You have quite the legs to move around and be mobile and agile. And I understand when you played, you were always competitive.
Yeah, so I actually did do soccer, ran track, I was a sprinter, and did long jump. I also played lacrosse and played basketball as well. And so I definitely tried to be involved with as many sports as I possibly could, definitely wearing myself out. But by far, I would say soccer was definitely my favorite. I played since I was a really little kid and played with the same team all throughout my life up until high school, and then went on to actually play lacrosse, which was really fun. But overall, I had an amazing experience. I was definitely considered overly competitive on the field, which I think is something that has stuck with me since then. I was definitely known for being just a slightly bit too aggressive on the field, but people knew that when they watched me play, it was certainly going to be an entertaining one because they knew I was just going to give my absolute all. And so that was kind of what I was known for, was being hyper competitive on the field.
Yeah, I understand you also have a creative mind for media. You're always planning ahead. You're always making sure everything's precise. And when it comes to media, you have a niche for that.
Oh. Well, I really appreciate that, Ethan. That is super amazing to hear that people notice the work that you're doing. And so, yeah, I would say I'm involved with a plethora of different media. And so, it really started with photography. We had a camera at my house, and I was like, maybe I could try this out. And I started taking photos, realized that I actually enjoyed it and thought that I was pretty good at it. So I started taking photos, which then led me into, hey, I had someone ask me, can you actually put these photos on a flyer? And I was like, well, maybe I could learn graphic design. So then I started pursuing graphic design, and then it was, hey, do you make videos too? And then that led into videography, and then that led into web design. So it just kind of kept compiling from there. So I would say I'm a mixed media artist, always dabbling in new forms of media.
Yeah, I'm in the media as well, with Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and occasional Twitter. But social media is like becoming very important in today's world. You gotta make sure it's clean, creative, and also employers look at that stuff as well, and they hire the HR department to look up all your information. And I understand you flew out west to visit California, where they have the palm trees and all types of tourist attraction, entertainment field, and of course, all these celebrities walking on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so certainly one of the highlights that I've shared on social media, not only on my own, but on Atalo's, is my visit to California. So I had the privilege of traveling to California twice, one for a personal trip to visit my best friend out there. Additionally, to go on our national college tours that Atalo provides every year for our scholars. We headed out to California with a cohort of about 25 scholars, in which we traveled from LA all the way up to San Francisco, touring about 5 to 6 universities throughout that tour, and got to see the sights, got to walk down Hollywood Boulevard, eat at amazing restaurants, and just have an amazing time. Went to Santa Monica, went to, honestly, the list goes on and on. But overall, California was certainly a dream. Seeing those palm trees, seeing the cute outfits, going to the beaches, it is an incredible place. So I definitely feel fortunate to have gone on that trip.
You had more than the privilege. You had the experience, you got the memories, and you shared it with a lot of people on that journey, and you had safe flights back and forth. I understand there's a difference in time zone. I understand there's a difference in quality of food because they're more Pacific Ocean. And then, of course, California is a more humid place than it is on the East Coast. But at the same time, California is a place of opportunities for education, sports, and of course, your thing, media. And there's also the franchises that allow people in suburban America to get plenty of job opportunities and build from there. And you had a privilege to meet the one and only Super Bowl winner with the Eagles, Torrey Smith, Maryland University, and one of Jordan's friends.
Yes, I definitely have. So in addition to the California trip, I've had numerous experience from my time at Atalo that have been certainly memorable to not only myself, but the scholars and the community members that have been able to take part in these events, one of which being our talk with Torrey that we had last winter, or this past winter, where he came and kind of shed some light on his story and the resilience that he's demonstrated throughout his life to get him to where he is. And so I had the pleasure of spending the day with Torrey, documenting his journey through Lancaster. I believe it was his first time visiting Lancaster, and so we kind of took him about the town, showed him some spots. He met with some of our scholars, and then we ended the night with him doing his talk, and he was amazing. He's super down to earth, super funny. He just honestly, from the moment he got in the car, from us picking him up from the train station, he was just down to earth. I didn't feel like I needed to impress Torrey. He's just a guy that wants to have an impact, wants to make you feel welcome, and he definitely made me feel that way, and definitely made our scholars feel that way throughout his time here at Atalo.
Yeah, Torrey Smith, a man who gives back to the community, remembers where he came from, and his speech was very enlightening and down to earth to people who understand that he comes from humble beginnings, and he appreciates the opportunity that the University of Maryland Terps gave him, and then he pursued it even further in the NFL. And then, of course, you got a chance to meet the Magic one, the man who won Olympics, NBA championship, NCAA championship, and, of course, a high school championship, Irvin Magic Johnson.
So Magic Johnson was an incredible experience. Just him as a person is an experience, being around him, especially the gala that we created kind of around his talk and him as our keynote speaker from our spring gala last year. And so I had the privilege of leading our production team for our spring gala, in which he was our keynote speaker, as well as Coach James Franklin from Penn State University. And honestly, upon meeting Magic Johnson, he is a lot taller than I thought he was going to be. Everybody says that, but it's kind of different when you're standing beside someone of that stature. And so it was kind of incredible. And when I shook his hand, it was wild to see how huge his hands were compared to my little hands. And so I'd say upon meeting him, I was certainly taken aback just by how, he just has that grandiose personality upon meeting him. And so we chatted briefly because, of course, everybody wanted to have a minute with Magic Johnson because of his story and how incredible he is as a human being. But I would say for the brief time that I was able to meet him, it certainly was something that I'll remember moving forward.
I remember when he called the students up to the stage and spoke to them directly, giving thanks to the teachers, the principals, and administration. And he told them he was once in their shoes. Now it's up to them to fulfill their purpose and their dream, and don't let adversity and hardships get in the way. And it starts with having the right people in your life that are going to pour into you, not pour out of you. Because they like to say the glass is maybe half empty or half full. But if you want a full glass that runneth over, you got to be around the people who are willing to pour into you on a year-round basis, not on a seasonal basis. Because our heart beats all year round. So therefore, our support should be all year round. Yeah, Magic Johnson was a tall man. His speech was very enlightening. He took pictures with a lot of people. And of course, he had a nice suit on. And he was really charismatic, had some humor, and of course, he knew how to tell his story precisely. And I understand when it comes to creating stories, you do that with web design.
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, I'm involved with a plethora of different things. Web design is certainly one of them. And so here at Atalo, I am our lead web designer. I have done that in the past with my business that I had, which I can speak to a little bit more about shortly. But I do our web design. I also am one of our graphic designers. I take our photos, do our videography, run our social media. And so I kind of wear many hats here at Atalo, just trying to get involved with as many creative things as I can, trying to build that skill set. I'm just the type of person that if I can learn it, I'm gonna learn it. I always love challenging myself and trying to accumulate as many skills as I can. I kind of like to be someone that's a jack of all trades and explore a wide variety of avenues that are available to explore. So if the opportunity presents itself, absolutely I'm gonna take it. And so when I realized that, hey, I might be able to do this web design thing, absolutely I took advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, the opportunities sometimes are once in a lifetime, but at the same time, the opportunities are sometimes the things that we create all year round. And our opportunities is what we make use of our time.
Yes, definitely the feedback piece. Of course, my family is not afraid to share what they think. I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to that. But above all, they have been nothing but supportive throughout my entire journey, from initially deciding to leave college to start a business, which is certainly a risky move and is something that most parents probably wouldn't advocate for their child to do. But my family believed in me, and they knew that if I was set on something, I was relentless in getting what I was envisioning. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to be, was an entrepreneur, someone who could start something and see it through and create something beautiful. And so upon creating my business, they were nothing short of supportive, constantly shooting me leads, trying to get my name out there, promoting my work. And then joining Atalo was another major decision that they were absolutely excited for me to be a part of, to be able to kind of give that impact to so many students every day. And then recently, I made the decision to go back to school and finish my degree, just because I think I missed out on some pretty substantial, just fundamental knowledge that I think is pivotal in pursuing the path in which I want to pursue. And so I'll be attending Villanova University in the spring. And of course, they're supportive in that decision. But without a doubt, throughout this entire time, I know that I could depend on them. And I know that if I asked them what they thought, they were going to tell me what they really thought. And so I think I feel blessed, in short, to know I have a huge family to back me on whatever decision I decide to pursue.
Sound like you're standing on a good foundation. Sound like you got the people in your right corner. And of course, you got the right people that are looking out for your best interests. It's been a pleasure doing this interview with Madison, and I appreciate your time, this opportunity, and we're making the most of it. Any final words?
I just want to thank Ethan for asking me to do this interview. I feel humbled. I feel excited to share just a little bit of my story, and hopefully maybe you took something from this and maybe got inspired just a little bit by something I said. And honestly, I just think it's incredible to see people like Ethan taking the time to chat with us that want to make an impact, that want to share our stories. And so I just feel very honored to be a part of this interview. So thank you, Ethan.
This is Lancaster Community Television Station. I'm Ethan, And this is my interview with Madison. Thank you very much.